Hello, everyone, and welcome to Living Healthy and Aging Well. My name is Ken Haglind, and today is Saturday, March 14th, 2020, and we are broadcasting live from the AM 950 radio station that does overlook the beautiful Bryant Lake Regional Park located here in Eden Prairie, Minnesota. We are on the air every Saturday from noon to 1 to talk about your health and your life. We cover a wide range of topics to improve your quality of life, and that includes wellness and health care, elder care, even end-of-life care, and of course, caregiver support, which plays a vital role in keeping us all on track here with having good quality lives. We have another great show for you today. Joining me in studio is Rich Frieder. He is the Executive Director of LearningRx with locations in Eagan, Savage, and Woodbury. And we're talking about the benefits of brain training. Now, for all ages, the LearningRx programs help improve focus, memory, and recall for school and work, and will help to improve your quality of life. This is going to be a great show today, folks. So here's the thing. I want to make sure you get your calls in on this. This is actually an amazing program that Rich has here. We're going to go into this in detail, but there's been so much new information on neurological issues here over the last few decades. And so these guys are on the pioneering edge of this stuff and how it's helping people in their daily lives. So I want you to get your questions ready here and give us a call. Now, we're adding new listeners to the show each week. Please let us know you are listening by leaving a voice or text message on our radio show phone number, which is 612-999-3426. And you can leave that message anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that is the same phone number that you can text us your questions during the show today. That number again is 612-999-3426. I do want to thank all of you that do leave messages, both of support and encouragement. We appreciate hearing from you, and we welcome your questions, comments, and suggestions. Also, as you know, please continue to let us know of topics or of guests you would like for us to have on future shows. You know, we're here to help you improve your quality of life, and we love doing that. So again, call us, leave a message anytime, 612-999-3426. All right, for all you new listeners, the purpose of this radio show is to bring you specialists and experts, and most importantly, people with a passion for helping others to provide advice on how to navigate the complexities and challenges of managing both you and your family's health and quality of life. We also have a special focus on our aging population and how we can help you and your loved ones prepare for the various stages of life's transitions. And in addition, we provide vital information for the caregivers who are essential in supporting our senior population. And this show today, folks, is about those caregivers, both the sandwich generation that's taking care of children and their parents. This is going to be very, very important for you to listen to this show today. Now, you can find all the recordings of our previous shows on the AM 950 website by going to the AM 950 radio homepage and clicking the On Demand button, and then clicking on our show logo, Living Healthy and Aging Well. Now, as I mentioned, get your questions ready here for anything that you have regarding neurological questions, focus, memory, recall, anything here that could impact your quality of life or a loved one's quality of life. And if you find yourself struggling just getting through day to day, this is an important show to get your questions answered. Now, there's two ways of getting your question in the air. One is calling the radio station. Talk to our friendly show producer, Eric Nelson, and the radio show number to call is 952-946-6205. Once again, 952-946-6205. And you can ask your question to us live on the air, or as I mentioned, you can just directly text us your question to our radio show phone, which is 612-999-3426. Now, again, I remind you guys, don't wait until the show has ended to ask your questions. We often receive many of the same questions left on our radio show phone after the show has ended. So if you have a question, many others do as well. All right, we look forward to answering your questions today. Now, I want to mention that one of our show partners here wanted to remind you guys that if you or someone you know is considering a move to an assisted living or other type of community, consider calling Neighbor Care. Now, this is a new kind of in-home support that's more affordable than the traditional home care services. Now, this innovative new home care model is designed to help older adults remain independent by making in-home support services more affordable and accessible. Now, care professionals can help with daily tasks in smaller time increments, even multiple times each day as necessary. Support is offered 24 hours a day. Now, serving the Twin Cities community for more than 125 years, Episcopal Homes understands the importance of a safe and supportive environment. They're offering this service called Neighbor Care. And this is an innovative home care program around the Episcopal Homes service area within the urban core of St. Paul. This service benefits from the financial support from the Minnesota Department of Human Services, which is recognizing innovation is needed in our communities to help support older adults in living well at home. Now, for more information, please call Episcopal Homes at 651-444-4000. Once again, 651-444-4000 to find out more about their program called Neighbor Care and to see if it's offered in your neighborhood. All right, one last thing here. We received several calls last week regarding the special offer from one of our show partners, the Sano Wellness Center. And yes, the special is still available. For a limited time, they're offering a free consultation to our listening audience if you mention my radio show. So if you're suffering from chronic ailments, feeling stressed and overwhelmed, or struggling to lose weight to help improve your health and quality of life, call the team at Sano Wellness Center for your free consultation. They've been helping people for over 17 years here in the Twin Cities, and they can help you. You can reach them at 952-681-2916. Once again, 952-681-2916, or visit them online at sanowc.com. That's spelled SANOWC.com. They are conveniently located in Bloomington, right off of 494 and Penn Avenue. So give them a call and tell them you heard on this show here, so you get that free consultation. All right. Well, I'm just really, really excited about this program today. I was doing some show prep here and going through Rich's online website, and there are a number of great programs that we want to explore here today. We won't have time to talk about all of them, but we'll have to get Rich back here on a future show to go about that. But Rich Frieder, he is the Executive Director of LearningRx. Now, he owns these locations in Eagan, Savage, and Woodbury, and we're going to talk about the benefits of brain training. Now, you've all go to the gym and exercise your muscles and exercise your heart and your lungs, but have you ever thought about training your brain? So we're going to talk about that today. And the LearningRx programs help improve focus, memory, recall, and that is a great benefit for people in school or people that are in the workforce that can help improve your quality of life. So Rich, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Ken. So excited to be here. I love the focus of your show, by the way. So needed.
Well, again, it's one of the only shows in the country that will talk about all aspects of life, including death. So yeah. we're the only ones. So that's why we have listeners in Florida and Texas and Colorado, all over the country, and we're very, very fortunate. And those folks, I really appreciate. They'll text in and they'll say, "Wow, that was a fun show. Have you ever thought about doing this on the show?" So
awesome.
Anyway, it is a Twin Cities-based show, folks. So most of the people that listen to the show are from the Twin Cities. But Rich, why don't you share with our listeners kind of your background and then how you eventually got into the LearningRx area?
Yeah. Well, great question. I didn't foresee actually getting into this, as my background has been more in the business world. My wife worked a lot of years in the Shakopee School District with kids who have special needs. But what really prompted us to open the centers was my youngest daughter, Katie. So I have 3 daughters, Ken. My 2 oldest girls, they're adults now. They're 28, 26, supporting themselves, did great in college. My youngest daughter, Katie, she's a great kid, really bright girl. But at age 5.5 or 6, she was diagnosed with ADHD, processing delays, sensory issues. And it was really through trying to help her that we decided to open the center, because for us, what I would consider traditional methods didn't really work for her. And those were, we were told the only option for ADHD was, we really needed to put her on medication. We were told that she needed an IEP in the classroom, which is a special, kind of a special education plan. And I mean, this isn't true of every child, but for my daughter, Katie, the medications all made her crabby and moody and dropped her appetite. And the IEP, we realized, wasn't necessarily addressing the issue, was kind of helping her get through school, but more really working around it by giving her the ability to work longer on things or do things where it was quieter. So we realized that we really needed to help her, and we did a lot of research to figure that out, and that's why we decided to open the center about 12 years ago.
All right, we are up against a hard break here, Rich, so we'll get back into that here in a few seconds. So join us after the break here, folks. We'll be right back to continue talking with Rich Frieder about LearningRx and brain training. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Peter Solak.
And I'm Adam Ostrowski.
We are here at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces to talk about the joy of live fire cooking. Cooking over a live fire is the oldest and most basic form of cooking.
What's new is in the way fire is handled and its heat is managed.
It's easier to experience and enjoy the smell and taste of food cooked over a live fire.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces sells and installs live fire grills, fire pits, and ovens. Let us help you experience the smell, the taste, the fun of cooking with fire.
Pizza was first made and is still best made in an open fire oven. The radiant and conductive heat of a live fire is unmatched for wood roasting and baking artisan breads too.
Come see the many ways you can cook over a live fire.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces has over 35 working wood and gas units on display at the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis. More information at woodlandstoves.com. Find the fire that works for you. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces. Out of the ordinary products and services since 1977.
Supporting the best local and independently owned restaurants in the Twin Cities has never been easier. You'll find an expansive list of local dining options at eatlocalminnesota.com, from classic American comfort food to authentic flavors from around the world. Cafe Latte offers made-from-scratch soups, salads, sandwiches, and mouth-watering desserts. Stop in the wine bar and enjoy a unique pizza loaded with fresh vegetables and perfectly roasted meats. Over 30 wines by the glass, Cafe Latte highlights Washington State wines and is the perfect destination for date night or an evening with friends. 850 Grand Avenue, St. Paul. Victor's 1959 Cafe has been serving South Minneapolis traditional Cuban food for over 15 years. Victor's is open for breakfast and lunch daily and now accepts dinner reservations too. Stop in and try the Pollo Tropicale or the Sandwich Cubano, which was featured on Food Network. More at eatlocalminnesota.com.
Hi, I'm Frank Brown, owner of the only minority-owned union print shop in Minnesota.
Do you work with political campaigns?
Yes, we have years of experience helping campaigns.
Do you help with design?
Yes, our employees have over 100 years of industry experience and are the best at what they do.
So you print anything a political campaign might need?
Yes, we print everything. Work with a printer for your political campaign that shares your values. Minuteman Press Uptown. Learn more at mpuptown.com. Minuteman Press Uptown. We print everything.
Anytime is the right time to update your music collection, so stop in at the Electric Fetus and browse their massive selection. You'll find everything from rock and pop to international and roots, and so much more on CD and vinyl. Not only is the Electric Fetus the best stop for music, but they also carry a wide and unique range of gifts. Bath products, clothing, books, stationery, candles, incense, you name it. That's the Electric Fetus at 2000 4th Avenue South in Minneapolis and online at efetus.com.
Welcome back. You are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about your health and your life. My name is Ken Haglind, and joining me today in the main studio of AM 950 is Rich Frieder. He is the Executive Director of LearningRx, and he owns the locations that serve LearningRx in Eagan, Savage, and Woodbury, so kind of the South Metro area. And today we are talking about the benefits of brain training. Now, this is applicable to people of all ages, and we'll get into that here later in the segment. But the LearningRx programs that we'll talk about will help improve focus, memory, recall, and several other things that benefit people either in an academic program in school, or if you're out of school and you're in your work career. It can make a huge difference in your life and help improve your performance and the quality of life. Before we get back into our conversation, though, I want to make sure I mentioned this radio program is brought to you in part each week by Minnesota Hospice. Now, they are an independent, physician-owned medical practice serving local Minnesota communities for over 12 years with innovative and comprehensive end-of-life health care. Now, if you have any questions regarding end-of-life care or support, please contact the compassionate team of experts at Minnesota Hospice. Their number is 952-898-1022. Once again, 952-898-1022, or visit them online at minnesotahospice.com. Now, here's the thing, folks, you got to give them a call. I get texts and calls about hospice every week, and just give them a call. Number one question I get is, how much does it cost? If you're on Medicare or on most insurance programs, there is no cost. This is the best value in healthcare today. When you're on hospice, the entire group of nurses and aides and social work and chaplain and physicians, these people all come to your house. It's an entourage of services that come to wherever you live, whether it be at home in a residence or in an assisted living community. They come to you and they take care of you. So again, please, if you have any questions about that or about eligibility, because you have to have certain eligibility qualifications to get this great health care service, give the folks at Minnesota Hospice a call, 952-898-1022. All right, also, I want to mention this radio program is brought to you in part by the team at Genetic Health RX. Now, these folks specialize in providing DNA testing to ensure the medications you're taking or are planning to take are the right ones for your unique genetic profile. Now, avoiding medications your body cannot use may help to reduce potential negative drug side effects. Now, the team at Genetic Health RX provides your doctor with a personalized medication management program, and they do this by using a simple one-time, it's a pain-free test. It's a cheek swab, and this test is covered by Medicare and most insurance plans. So for more information, please call the folks at Genetic Health RX. Their number is 612-991-9930. Once again, that number is 612-991-9930. Again, this test is covered by Medicare because they believe it's so important that you get the right medications for your unique genetic profile. Don't take a chance. Don't guess. Get the test results. That way you and your doctor know specifically which drugs will work with you and which drugs won't. All right. Let's get back in our program here with Rich Frieder. Hey, Rich, if people have questions, what number would they give you a call if they wanted to find out more about your program?
I would think calling 952-226-1115 would be the ideal number. And then from that number, depending on what location you live by, we can also get you the right location.
Okay, that's right, because you have 3 locations here, more kind of in the South Metro, Woodbury, Savage,
and
Eagan.
there's actually 7 across the Twin Cities area.
Okay, that are managed by somebody else.
Right, exactly.
Okay. All right. Last segment we were talking about your daughter, and she was kind of the catalyst that got you. Isn't that how life works?
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to deal with something, and then all of a sudden you become passionate about it.
Right.
And I've been through that process myself. Anyway, let's finish that conversation about her situation and how that kind of got you into this area.
Yeah. So after trying, medication, lots of different options for Katie dealing with her ADHD issues, did a lot of research, decided to open our center in about almost coming up on 12 years ago. So Katie's 18 now, but she went through the program and it helped her get off medication. Reading was a huge issue for her. She loves reading now. She's now a senior in high school doing really well. So, that's what we can do for especially, school-age kids or adults, but school-age kids, because we're addressing the root cause of the learning struggle, we can totally change the trajectory of their academic career, which really can change the trajectory of their life and where they end up. And what's really fun, Ken, is now after being open almost 12 years, seeing kids we worked with who were like in third grade are now in college, or kids that came to us in high school are now in their careers, having gone through, having completed college where parents maybe thought that would never happen. And that's one of the benefits of cognitive training, is that the gains are long-lasting, actually. So it is similar to working out, like you said, right? Like work out the brain.
Right.
The difference being, if you stop working out, what happens? You
atrophy.
You atrophy.
Yeah.
After training, as long as you're using your brain in a normal, healthy way, the gains stay with you. In fact, we do assessments a year after our clients complete the program, and we have a 98% retention rate.
Wow.
So you don't lose the skill.
Well, that's fantastic. Yeah. Well, it's nice to have something in the healthcare spectrum or in the care spectrum that you can make a commitment to, knowing that's going to last. I mean,
yes. Yeah.
We especially in our business, we see a lot of remission issues, or where you get remission, but then something comes back, and it's like it's never permanent or never long lasting.
And that's really true, especially for school-age students, for parents who bring their kids to tutoring every year, maybe where they struggle with reading or different issues. What's happening with tutoring is it can help, but you're treating the symptom. You're just providing more academics. You're not addressing the root cause as to why the child struggles in the first place, which is actually what we do. So the benefit of that is, our goal is to get kids out of that cycle of needing constant tutoring, because you're just addressing you're treating the symptom. Mm-hmm. And then every school year is more difficult. So you just keep staying in that, process or that frustrating cycle of academic catch-up versus like we average over a 3-year gain in reading for the average 10-year-old. Huge jump, right? And it's because we're addressing the root cause of the reading struggle, or helping kids who struggle with attention or motivation or organizational issues. So, so we're really about, let's identify the root cause of the struggle, because really what we're focused on at LearningRx, we're actually what's called a cognitive skills training center. Mm-hmm. So we're not a tutoring center, which is what most people think we are just because of our name. But what that means is, our youngest student so far is 5. Our oldest so far is 95. Mm-hmm. We would go older than that, Ken, but no one older has shown up yet. Right?
So there's no age limit.
There's no age limit, exactly. So because the reason, so the biggest change in the last years is now about a third of those we work with are adults, because these are not just academic skills, attention, memory, processing, logic. They're also vocational skills that we need for a strong quality of life.
Well, we'll talk more about that when we get back here. It's time for a short break. We'll be right back to continue our conversation with Rich Frieder, Executive Director of LearningRx. Please get your questions ready, and we'll return after the break. Stay with us.
Tom Hartman here for All Energy Solar. One of the myths about solar is that you save more if you wait, but waiting to switch can actually cost you more. While tax rebates make solar affordable, those rebates are often limited and decrease over time. So when you wait, you risk losing some of the incentives that make solar so easy to afford today. And besides, the sooner you get your All Energy Solar system, the sooner you reduce or even eliminate that high electricity bill. Make the switch today at allenergysolar.com.
Being in the Army National Guard is about more than just serving your country. It's about being there for your community when your neighbors need you most. The Army National Guard makes college affordable. Serving part-time lets you attend school full-time while you take advantage of education benefits that can help you graduate debt-free. If a civilian career is your goal, serving part-time allows you to work at a full-time job. The skills, qualities, and contacts you'll develop in the Guard can open doors to a great civilian career. Want to serve but worried about being away from friends and family? Part-time service in the Army National Guard allows you to serve close to home. Serving in the Army National Guard lets you have the life you want while you enjoy the many benefits of serving your community and nation. You owe it to yourself to learn more about how the Army National Guard can fit into your life. Visit NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Army National Guard. Aired by the Minnesota Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hello, humans. This is me, Ellie Krug, with Ellie 2.0 Radio on Monday mornings from 7 to 8 a.m. This week's featured idealist is Rose Pastor Stokes, who pushed for labor unions and legalized birth control at the beginning of the 20th century. The big interview is with Nick Alm of the nonprofit Mosier. He's back for an update on his idealistic work. In my C block, I talk about serendipity and change of trajectory. Ellie 2.0 Radio, engaging and real on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Hi, this is Kirk Duckwall with the House Geeks and the Twin Cities Real Estate Show here on AM 950. If you're thinking about making a move, check out our free books, which you can request at housegeeks.com. The Smart Home Buyer book is a guide through one of your biggest financial decisions. This book covers how to find some of the best values on homes and loans, how to navigate and negotiate on homes with multiple offers, all the way through getting what you want out of your inspection contingency. Don't forget about our Smart Seller, a guide through the sale process and maximizing value. In this book, we cover how to prepare your home for sale, knowing how long it will take for your home to sell, and how to determine what your home will sell for. We also uncover the truth behind instant offers. If you would like a copy of either of these free books, check us out online at housegeeks.com to request yours today.
Your AM 950 weather, this is Eric Nelson. Today will be mostly cloudy with a high of 38. Tonight, a low of 24. Sunday, mostly sunny with a high of 43 and a low of 32, while Monday, a 20% chance of rain after 1 p.m. with otherwise cloudy skies, a high of 45 and a low around 29. Believe it or not, it's time for spring cleaning. And if you want your house to be fresh and clean, you've got to go with Zero Res. This month, get 3 rooms of carpet Zero Resified starting at just $129, plus a free hallway. That's a savings of $55. Find more online at ZeroResMinnesota.com.
All right. Welcome back, folks. You are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well. This is the program, and it's one of the only programs in the country that will talk about your health, your life, and your death, and how death makes life so meaningful because we know we only have a limited time to do our purpose. So you're at the right show here, and my name is Ken Haglind, and joining me today in the main studio of AM 950 is Rich Frieder. Now, he's the Executive Director of LearningRx here in the South Metro of the Twin Cities, and he has locations in Eagan, Savage, and Woodbury, and we're talking about the benefits of brain training, and this applies to all ages. And the programs that we're talking about here help improve focus and memory and recall. That benefits people in school or in the workforce, and it helps improve your quality of life. Now, we'll talk more about that here in this segment, and we have one more segment. And again, folks, I'm encouraging you, give us a call. This is a great area to explore. And if you have any questions about how to improve your memory, your recall, your cognitive abilities, or your children or your parents, give us a call here. We'll get those questions answered. The radio station phone number for that is 952-946-6205. I want to remind you folks one more time, there's this new program out there in St. Paul called Neighbor Care. So if you know someone who's considering a move from independent living to assisted living, consider calling the Neighbor Care program. This is a new kind of in-home support that's more affordable than the traditional home care services that you may be familiar with. This innovative new home care model is designed to help older adults remain independent by making in-home support services more affordable and accessible. Now, the care professionals that would be involved with this can help with daily tasks in smaller time increments, even multiple times each day, as necessary. So there's no minimum 3-hour or 4-hour visits anymore. These can be in 15-minute increments. That cuts the cost down significantly. Now, this support is actually offered 24 hours a day. Now, serving the Twin Cities community for more than 125 years, Episcopal Homes understands the importance of a safe and supportive environment. Now, this neighbor care program that they're offering is very innovative. And this home care program that they're launching here right now is focused on the service area within the urban core of St. Paul. And it's around their Episcopal Homes neighborhood. Now, this service benefits from financial support from the Minnesota Department of Human Services. That's who they're partnering with here to create this program. And the MDH is recognizing that innovation is needed right now to help support older adults in living well at home with a high quality of life. If you have questions about this unique program, please call Episcopal Homes at 651-444-4000. Once again, 651-444-4000 to find out about their neighbor care program and see if it's offered in your neighborhood. All right. Well, Rich, let's get back in our conversation, but also let's let people know how they can get a hold of you if they have more questions.
Yeah, certainly. Call us at 952-226-1115. You can also email me directly, Ashley, at rich@learningrx.net.
All right, fantastic. Well, we have been talking about the innovative programs here that LearningRx has. Can we talk a bit about some of the background of LearningRx? I mean, how long have they been around, and how that whole connection got started with people learning and trying to get people to understand that they can actually train their brain. They can actually improve their cognitive abilities. Let's delve into that a little bit further.
Yeah, so Ken, LearningRx, we've been around for 30 plus years actually. So we weren't always called LearningRx. The name changed at around 2000. But our founder, Dr. Gibson, I'm really impressed with him. He's now in his mid-70s. But he, if you go back 35 years or so, the concept behind what we're doing is a concept called neuroplasticity, which really means at any age you can strengthen skills like memory and processing and logic. Well, 30-some years ago, that concept wasn't believed. It was believed that our skills were hardwired, our IQ was hardwired. If you were born with a high IQ, great, things will be easier. If not, things will be tougher. He didn't believe that, and he actually grew up with dyslexia, which was part of that. So from his own experience, he thought, that's not true. So he worked at the time, this was 30-some years ago, with experts in psychology, education, neuroscience to develop what we do. So we've been doing it for a long time, actually. We have 13, I believe now, what are called peer-reviewed published articles in medical psychology education journals showing the efficacy of our program, and tons of data over the years. But the concept of neuroplasticity, Ken, so important because it gives hope to tons of people. Like I mentioned, my daughter Katie with ADHD or dyslexia issues, or seniors who are experiencing memory decline. One area that is so critical is the area of traumatic brain injuries that we can absolutely help. So that's really the message. We're a place of hope that people who are struggling with different areas like that hugely impacts quality of life. You can strengthen your skills. You don't have to settle for kind of the position you're in or maybe a loved one is in if they're struggling due to some cognitive weaknesses.
Yeah, I hear from parents all the time. We work with the children of parents that are going into a hospice program or struggling with end-of-life issues, and they do talk about their children. And it's, there's with the rapid increase in ADHD diagnoses and behavior issues and learning issues, it's an epidemic. We over the last 20, 30 years, 1 in 10,000, now it's 1 in 150 are diagnosed with some type of attention deficit situation. So it's very frustrating to see that, and I sense the frustration from parents that don't know what to do. They care so much about giving the best of life to their children, and they don't. They're just frustrated.
Well, and like my daughter Katie, who's very bright. That's typical of most who have ADHD. Is they're really bright individuals. But what happens is that those weaknesses related to the attention issues are undermining their abilities. So it kind of puts a cap on showing how bright they actually are, and it can be very frustrating. For the parent and the individual, or for the adult for that matter. We obviously work with adults who struggle with that. So, but yeah, that's the background. So we've been around a long time. We've been in the Twin Cities coming up on 12 years as well. We've worked with now probably about almost 4,000 clients in the Twin Cities area.
Okay. I know your website said you guys have nationwide done over 100,000.
Yeah, 100,000 brains trained.
Right.
Plus.
which is amazing.
So a lot of experience.
Yeah. Well, and as you said, I want to make sure people understand this. This is not a tutoring service. This is not, helping people bone up on math skills.
Right.
This is really about training the brain to be able to do math better.
Yeah, like a great example of that would be, let's say a child is struggling to memorize multiplication tables. Typical approach would be either at home or school or through a tutoring program is to drill the math facts.
Repetition,
right?
Yep.
Not understanding that what might be causing the issue in that case is likely low long-term memory. So what happens is you drill the math facts, kids get the math facts over time, takes them longer, they get it, not realizing they'd never addressed the root cause, right? So then kids go into middle school, now they struggle with test taking or remembering to bring their books home or remembering to turn their homework in. And so the memory issue follows them through all the way through life. It just manifests differently every year. So you just, again, stay in that situation of struggle every year, look for extra help and school interventions or things like that, which again, aren't bad. I mean, take advantage of it. But it's never addressing the root cause. What we're doing is strengthening memory so you can get out of the cycle in that example.
Right. That's not accommodate. That's correct.
Right, exactly.
So in the last few minutes here of this segment, I'd like to talk about the process. So if a person's interested, what would that process look like in terms of getting an assessment or identifying what the plan of care or plan of correction or plan of training would be?
Yeah, so the way that works, Ken, is the first step with us is to schedule an initial assessment. That takes about an hour to an hour and a half. The assessment we administer is actually called the Woodcock-Johnson 4 Test of Cognitive Abilities and what's called the Kaufman Test of Reading Achievement. So basically, those are not our tests, actually. They're used by school systems, neurologists, psychologists. They're the gold standard in cognitive testing. They give an age equivalency percentile of where someone is at across the key cognitive skills like memory and processing and logic and visual auditory processing that make up our IQ. After that is done, then we enter that information. A day or two or however longer after that, I would meet with that family or the individual, and I ask a lot of questions. So we call this a consultation because I want to really understand what's happening. From there, then, we can recommend the right program. And the programs vary in length and the type of programs based on the cognitive deficits, the goals. But one of the biggest benefits, Ken, is all of our training is one-on-one with ideally the same trainer. So what that means is it's completely customized because there's a big difference in training a 90-year-old versus a 10-year-old. Even two 85-year-olds next to each other would be training a little differently based on where their skills are. So it's not a cookie cutter, everyone does the exact same thing. It's completely customized to the individual and the needs of that individual.
Okay, so...
And actually I should mention, if you mention this show, so the assessment I mentioned is typically $200.
Okay.
If they mention Living Healthy and Aging Well, your show, we actually would do that for $59 only for one family member.
Okay.
Okay.
And how long is that available for? Is that a limited time?
Yeah, I mean, really, as long as they, rather next month or two.
Okay.
Yeah, we would be pretty liberal with that.
Okay, sounds good. So you'd schedule an assessment. You get that done. It's about 1 to 1.5 hours of time. Then you guys do your analysis on that.
Right.
And then a person would come back and have a consultation with you
to
go through the results or the review of findings.
Yeah.
And then from there, you would then personalize a program for that individual
to help move them where they need to be.
Got it.
Exactly.
Now, do during the course of the program, do you see check-in points or trying to see are you making progress? Do people have milestones or measurements so they can say, well, after the X number sessions with that personal one-on-one coach?
We should be seeing certain benchmarks. So every session, in fact, every activity within the session is documented. I have directors of training at each location, and our staff typically has psych and education backgrounds. So you'll be glad to know I don't actually do the training. I have a team that's way better at it than I am, who have the right background to do it.
Right.
But yeah, exactly. So this is we do the assessment up front.
Yeah.
We do the assessment at the end again to show the improvement. But within that, we're looking at the levels at which in the activities we're doing someone is reaching, and then we actually do the assessment a year after clients complete the program, and that's where I say we have a 98% retention rate. So if we move, let's say, someone's memory from, let's say, the 30th percentile up to the 70th, which would be pretty average for us, which is a big jump.
Yeah.
A year later, it should be directionally in that 70th percentile. So you're not losing the ability unless there's something that has happened that has caused it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, gosh, I have more questions to ask here. And we have one more segment left, folks. It's time for a quick break. We'll be right back to continue talking with Rich Frieder, Executive Director of LearningRx. And he's got locations here in Eagan, Savage, and Woodbury. Get your question ready here. We'll be returning back from the break here in just a few minutes. Please stay with us.
We use technology every day to help manage our lives. Why not use it to help manage your medications? St. Paul Corner Drug offers several free tools to keep you on track while taking your medications. Use our mobile app to quickly order a refill, or the Meds on Q application, which turns your smartphone or tablet into your very own personal medication attendant. Email and text messaging options let you know when your medication is ready for pickup, making efficient use of your time. St. Paul Corner Drug, pharmacy the way it should be.
Connections Radio Show is all about tapping into our hardwired hunger to connect. We examine meaningful connections to ourselves, our community, and the world around us. By opening the door to innovative insights by a wide variety of interesting guests, we'll make the connections to something bigger than ourselves. Join me, Lori Fitz, your host of Connections Radio Show, and together we'll make the connections. Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Northeast Minneapolis is known for its creativity, and you'll know exactly why when you eat at Hazel's Northeast. Their creatively prepared comfort food will have you coming back week after week. Breakfasts like biscuits and gravy, granola pancakes, and brisket hash. For lunch, homemade soup and one of the best Reubens in town. And don't miss the daily risotto or Chef Ali's ever-changing dinner specials. Come on in, bring the whole family. Hazel's Northeast delivers real, good food. Family owned at 29th and Johnson in Minneapolis.
I'm attorney Rachel Schroman of Schroman Law, and I've got you covered. I provide trusted legal advice in wills and trusts, supplemental and special needs trusts, powers of attorney, healthcare directives, probate, financing long-term care, medical assistance planning, and prenuptial and postnuptial agreements. These are areas of law that are intensely personal in nature, and I don't take the responsibility of providing counsel around such issues lightly. Learn more at schromenlaw.com. That's SCHROMEN law.com.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Located just south of downtown Minneapolis, the Blaisdell is the perfect venue for your next event. The Blaisdell is a fresh, modern, newly remodeled historic mansion with spaces that can accommodate groups of 25 to 700. While perfect for weddings, the Blaisdell also includes rooms with high-tech audio and video equipment for your company's next gathering. So whether it's a dream wedding or impressing colleagues and clients, choose the Blaisdell as your next event venue. Select dates are still available. More at theblaisdell.com.
All right, welcome back, folks. You are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well. This is where we talk about your health and your life. My name is Ken Haglind, and joining me today in the main studio here at AM 950 is Rich Frieder. He is the Executive Director of LearningRx with local locations here in the Twin Cities in Eagan, Savage, and Woodbury. And we are talking about the benefits of brain training, and this applies to people of all ages from 5 to 95. And the LearningRx programs that we've talked about today are helping people improve their focus, memory, and recall with great benefits for people in school, kids in school, adults in school or adults in the workforce. And it's making a big difference in improving their quality of life. Rich, before we jump back into our conversation, let's remind our listeners how they can get a hold of you if they have more questions.
Yeah, so if you want to give us a call, best number is 952-226-1115. You can also email me directly at rich@learningrx.net. Or if you go to learningrx.com, tons of information about us, but you can also find the location nearest you and then send a contact form in to reach us as well.
Fantastic. And you do have a great website. It has a lot of information. I started looking at that here this week, and I spent a lot of time on there. It was very, very interesting. It's a fascinating area of health. As you said, we are learning a lot about the brain now. Things we thought we knew 30 years ago are completely wrong, and there's a lot of changes. So it's great to have an organization like you that keeps on the forefront of all those changes and incorporates that into some real live applicable solutions for us. Well, let's do this. People always call in and love hearing stories of people that have success in life. Do you have some stories you could tell us about some of your clients?
I do, yeah. There's several that come to mind, Ken. One, couple, I'll kind of hit on maybe some school-age students first, but one would be, her name was Elle, lives in Savage. She came to us in third grade. Her mom had tried everything to help her with reading issues. Really bright girl, major reading struggles, right? So, in fact, they had been told that, some kids just don't pick up on reading. Maybe your expectations are too high. Elle came in, did the assessment. We identified why she was struggling. Usually if kids struggle with reading, it's weaknesses in auditory processing, the phonetic side, and memory, actually, because reading takes a lot of memory with words like laugh that don't make any sense, right? So Elle went through our program. Long story short, at the end of the program, her reading went up 4 grade levels when they tested her in the fall after she went back to school. Huge jump.
Wow.
Now what's so exciting is now 10 years later, she was accepted at St. Olaf. And her mom said that never would have happened. I mean, we were just trying to get her through, elementary school. So we get huge gains with reading. Another student named Killian, he came to us as a high schooler with ADHD. Very classic. Medications weren't working very well. They tried counseling, different therapies, even kind of starting to get detentions because he wasn't getting his homework turned in. Again, really bright student. He went through our program. The first semester after, he earned an academic letter. And he graduated a year ago, this is now 8 years later, from the University of Minnesota with a degree in architecture, and he's working in the Twin Cities in that field. And again, his mom's like, I didn't think he'd get into college. So school-age kids, we can get to the root cause, totally change the trajectory. But one area as well is we worked with another individual named Ben Utek. Ben's from the Twin Cities. He won a Super Bowl with the Colts in 2007. Great guy. He had to retire from football in 2009 because of his multiple concussions. He went through our program in Savage about 5 years ago, and we brought his memory from the 12th to over the 90th percentile. It was life-changing for him. And that's one area where we see we can help so much because traumatic brain injury is a big category. It can be like Ben, where it's sports concussions or car accidents. It's strokes. We can help with strokes. We helped a lawyer in Burnsville who had chemo brain. Right, which obviously that process really can decrease your cognitive abilities. And what's growing for us as well is helping seniors struggling with memory decline. In fact, we had research published recently for our work with individuals who struggle with memory issues and showing really good results with that. So, so those would be some of the examples of who we work with. But it can be, I know it sounds kind of cliche, Ken, but when I say it can be life-changing, it really is. I got a great email last week for someone looking for a job. She said, I came to you as a high schooler. I was a terrible student. I went through your program and it changed my life. And now I'm in college getting a psych degree. And I want to come back and be a trainer to help, people the way you help me. Which I was like, even our job applications are inspirational. So it's pretty fun, satisfying work.
Right. Well, I'm a big believer in getting joy out of your purpose. And if you are doing your purpose, joy is a natural byproduct. And it sounds like you and your team get a lot of joy out of helping kids get back on track. And
we're a place of hope, really.
Yeah.
And we can be. I hear this from a lot of parents or adults where, we're almost like the last stop. They tried everything, and then they hear about us and like, oh, this makes sense. Well, you're getting to the root cause. And I've been trying all these strategies that are really more treating the symptom.
Right.
And, until you address the root cause, typically you just keep struggling.
Well, I think the breakthrough, just in our conversation today, just the breakthrough for me, and I'm sure for our audience, is the fact that you can train your brain.
You can.
I mean, you think about it, car accidents or injuries or falls, whatever, and people hurt themselves physically. Mm-hmm. Well, you have to get therapy. You have to work. You have to recondition. You have to retrain that area that got injured.
Yeah.
Well, why would we think the brain is any different?
Exactly.
And unfortunately, that's how the thinking was until 30 years ago.
It's true.
And all the great research that's been done since then is showing that we can retrain the brain. We
can. Well, and even now, people who have suffered a brain injury, often what they're told to expect is once you're a year out from the event, stroke, accident, whatever it is, all your cognitive strengthening or healing has now happened. And where you're at that point is your new normal. Like one of the more dramatic stories we worked with a guy named Wayne who at age 2 suffered a brain injury, struggled his entire life. We trained him at age 72 at our Woodbury Center. 70 years later, got him reading for the first time, for example. Because it doesn't matter how far out, like Ben Utek was 6 years from his last concussion. So there's so many people walking around with the impact of whatever that brain injury was, not knowing they can get help. And for seniors, I would just like to say to your audience is, there is a natural decline as we get older. Unfortunately, when we hit like 35 or 40, we start to decline, which is depressing, right? But you don't have to settle for that. And I do a lot of talks around the Twin Cities with, seniors group at churches and different places talking about how to stay kind of mentally fit, brain health as we get older, because you can do a lot, on your own to help strengthen your skills and make sure you have as strong a quality of life as possible as you get older.
Right.
And a lot of people don't hear that.
Yeah.
So,
well, we are up against the clock here and nearing the end of the show. Rich, thank you so much for being a part of the program here and sharing your background with LearningRx and the great successes that you've had there. Now, Rich has locations here in Eagan, Savage, and Woodbury, and we've been talking about the benefits of brain training. Rich, give us one more shot here with your phone number and the special that you're offering.
Yeah, so the special again is the initial assessment takes about an hour to an hour and a half. Usually is $200. If you mention the show, Ken, we'll do that for $59 for one family member. Great information. And then the way to reach us, call us at 952-226-1115. Check us out at learningrx.com, or you can shoot me an email directly at rich@learningrx.net.
All right, thank you, folks. Until next time, live well.